all the time, no matter what. The difference between winners and non-winners is that winners always have a winning attitude, right? So you've got to be happy, you've got to be excited, and you've got to be those things, whether you're up or down 10, you've got to be excited. So one of the things that I've kind of made it a habit, it's kind of like an unconscious thing, is to always be motivated, always be pumped up, because, I mean, let's face it, every day above ground, in my opinion, is a good day. And, you know, I was told a long time ago that a setback is simply a setup for a comeback. So what I'd like to do right now, ladies and gentlemen, is I'd like to start off this training by giving you guys 30 to 60 seconds of my story, right? So we're not complete strangers, for those, especially for those of you guys that don't know me. I'm 35 years old. I got started in the industry of network marketing when I was 18 years old. And my first 6 months in that company, I made a whopping $60 in commissions. Imagine that. 6 months, I made $60. That's 60. So that's an average of $10 per month. But one of the things that I realized when I joined network marketing for the first time at 18 is that I started seeing that the people that I was around had different philosophies. They had big goals. They had goals to make. At the time, the holy grail in network marketing was to make $10,000 per month. And even now, you know, 16 years later, $10,000 a month is still really good money. I believe that the holy grail now is what I call a rock per month, which is $100,000 per month. And, you know, of course, you got to get through the 10,000 to get to the 100,000. But we've had the good fortune of, since I was 18 till now, my goal at 18 years old was to retire my mom before the age of 30. That was able to happen by the age of 28. Till this day, my mom is still retired. And that's one of my biggest accomplishments. That's one of the things that I am the most proud of, to be able to retire my mom. And it's all thanks to this incredible industry, right? Currently, my teams are over 80,000 people in over 80 countries. Over $2.5 million in sales on a monthly basis through my sales organizations. Now, the only reason why I mention that is, and I don't want to sound cliche, and this is one of the phrases that are overly used in network marketing, but it's the truth, that I don't say that to impress anybody, but to impress upon you that if I could do it, anybody can make it happen. And nowadays, just like technology advances and just like it's a lot easier to communicate with people, it's also a lot easier to build a network marketing business for those people that really desire to build it, right? And we're going to share with you right now some basics that never go away, which is a fast start training on how to go out there and build a big organization, make a 6-figure income, make a 7-figure income through people who have made that money, are currently making that money. And, well, we're just excited to share that information with you, right? So with that said, what I want to do is I want to get into the first part of the training, okay? Now, this here is not the PowerPoint for the Fast Start training, but it is part of it. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to open up the video here, okay, because I want you guys to see me. I want you guys to see who is that's talking to you. And I'm actually here in my office in Downey, California, and I do a lot of business out of here. I've got a home office in my home. I've also got my office here, and I just get more work done here. I've got a 4-year-old son. I'm married with a 4-year-old son as well. And, you know, as you can imagine, there's more distractions at home because my son always wants to play. And as much as I love it, but we've got to take care of business when it's time to take care of business, right? So with that said, let's go and get started. So the first thing that I want to talk about with basic training, this is especially for the people that are brand new, and even for the people that are already seasoned professionals. One of the things that people make a mistake when they're already seasoned and they've gotten some results is that they get away from the basics, from the fundamentals. And me personally, I still do the fundamentals. I still have a notepad, and here in the United States, I know we got people from around the world, but I still have a notepad that I buy at Marshall's, right? Marshall's is a very good discount store, and I bought for $5. Notepads are normally $20, like nice leather-bound notepads, like this one here, or like this one right here. And what I do is I use a few of them as to-do list, and I use some of them as just notes to draw the compensation plan or to make my list of my prospects into that notepad, right? So we're going to get into those basics. So the first thing that we want to do when we're launching a network marketing business is that what we want to do is we want to go out there and we want to have our why you're doing the business. Now, as basic as it may seem, it is absolutely crucial, right? If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. So you've got to know why you're doing the business. You've got to write it down, and you've got to be specific, right? So, for example, One of my whys, right, was to retire my mom on or before the age of 30. And my goal to retire my mom, I had to be making over $100,000 a year, which was the number was really minimum $120,000 a year. That happened by the age of 28. And then I was able to say to my mom, listen, mom, you don't have to work anymore. You don't have, I said to my mom, you don't have to go to work tomorrow. As a matter of fact, you don't have to go to work ever again. Welcome to the rest of your life. See, that is something that I visualized in my mind before it happened, that was going to happen. And that was a burning desire to go out there and accomplish those things. You know, I had small whys as well. One of my whys, and I literally wrote this down, okay? One of my whys was to go to a restaurant and never look at the right side of the menu. Because as far as I'm concerned, anywhere around the world, the right side of the menu is where you see the prices, right? So my goal was always, I want to go to a restaurant and not look at the right side of the menu. I just want to see what I want to order, not worry about the price, order it, bills on me, checks on me. Then I pay, then leave a 15 or 20% tip and not worry about the price. I wanted to get to a point where I had some friends where we would go to a restaurant and people were fighting for the check, because at the time I have friends where the check would come and then they'd be in the restroom, or the check would come and all of a sudden they forgot their wallet, or they didn't reach for their wallet, right? So I wanted to surround myself with people. So I had small whys and I had big whys, right? Now it comes to the point where life is awesome. Like, we just came back from Vegas, and, you know, there's a restaurant that we love. It's a Mexican restaurant at the Aria Hotel in Las Vegas. It's called Javier's. And we love to go to that restaurant. It's one of our favorite restaurants, you know, but that's one of the restaurants where before I would just not go there. And if I did go there, the first thing I'd be looking at is the right side of the menu. So needless to say, one of my motivations was very heavy on financial stuff, because I didn't have any money. And even though they say money is not everything, it sure is when you don't have any of it. That's all you think about is money, right? So to not be able to worry about money, to have my wife be a stay-at-home mom with our beautiful son, that's what I wanted, and that's what we currently have now. But it's because of the fundamentals that we're going to talk about here today. So with that said, you have to write down a couple of whys. You want to write down some short-term whys, mid-term whys, and long-term whys. I'll give you an example. Maybe one of your short-term whys is to make an extra $500 a month. $400 or $500 a month. You write that down, but you've got to have a date. By when? And the way that you want to write it down is you want to say, I will be making an extra $500 or $1,000, whatever your goal is, as far as a short-term why. I will be making an extra $500 to $1,000 per month, part-time, on or before this date. Okay? On or before this date. So you got to speak about it in the present as if it already happened. There's power in the tongue. There's power in your words, power in your thoughts and your emotions when you speak these things and you believe them. So you've got to write it down. There's power in writing it down. You've got to read your whys over and over. So I'll give you an example. Let's say my short-term why would be, I want to make an extra $1,000 per month from my business, okay, on or before February 18th, 2018. That's my birthday, right? So let's say I was brand new and my goal was to make an extra $500 to $1,000 a month. That's how I would write it down, okay? And I get motivated. I get excited about it. I see it over and over. Then I go out there and I take the action to accomplish it. So you want to write short-term whys, mid-term whys, and long-term whys. A long-term why could be $20,000 a month, $10,000 a month. A long-term why could be quitting your job and dedicating yourself full-time to your business, to being an entrepreneur. It all depends on what your whys are. So that's number one. Step number two, you want to write down what you are willing to give up in order to achieve those whys. What is it you're willing to give up? For example, I'll share once again my testimonial. One of the things when I was broke, busted, and disgusted, first of all, as our parents told us in a very, very common phrase is, there's a saying in Spanish, tell me who you hang out with and I'll tell you who you are. It's another way of saying birds of a feather flock together, right? I used to hang out with a bunch of guys that were also broke, busted, and disgusted. A lot of guys that were not going anywhere. A lot of guys that didn't make a whole lot of money. A lot of guys that didn't have a lot of time freedom. A lot of guys that didn't have a bright future. Then I realized something's got to change. Then I heard the philosophy. If nothing changes, if nothing changes, nothing changes. Think about that. If nothing changes, nothing changes, right? And then one of my mentors says to me, JC, if you cannot change the people around you. You've got to change, meaning replace the people around you. He says, look at the average income with the circle that you spend the majority of your time with. Let's say that average income is $50,000 or 50,000 euros on a yearly basis. Your income will be $5,000 up or down of that average. So what does that mean? If the average people that you hang out with the most make $50,000 a year, you will be right around 45 to 55,000. That's where your income will be. Now, if the average person you hang out and spend the majority of your time with is making 20 grand a year, then you'll be right around 15 and 25,000. So he says, if you cannot change the people around you, you got to change the people around you, meaning you got to replace them. You got to get a new circle of friends. You got to hang out with people that are more successful. So one of the things that I wrote down to give up, because I was taught this, was poker. I used to play poker with friends. In the middle of the week, we'd be up to 2, 3, 4 in the morning sometimes. And I would literally get home and be depressed because I realized, what am I doing? I'm going to sleep at 3 in the morning because I'm playing with my buddies once or twice or 3 times a week sometimes, getting home at 3 in the morning, as late as 5 in the morning. Then I didn't really have a job, right? So it's kind of like the next day, like, what am I going to do and stuff? And I was looking for a job, and I had odd jobs here and there. Then I realized I got sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I had to make a change. That's when I started taking this information seriously. So I started replacing my friends, and I started getting some new friends. I started limiting my time or eliminating my time with people that didn't bring value into my life. I started attending trainings. I started doing the personal growth. I started focusing on my business, applying the things that I learned in trainings like this. And why? Because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. So you've got to write down what you're willing to give up. To some people, it might be some TV time. Some people, they might play softball. Some people might play a certain sport. Here's the thing. In network marketing, once it goes like this. You've got to be willing to work without pay in order to get paid without work. You've got to be willing to work without pay in order to get paid without work. However, before that happens, you've got to be willing to go out there and pay the price. Do these things. Talk to people. Show up on the webinar. Show up to the events. Show the plan, which is all things that we're going to talk about here today. You've got to go through a phase where you have a disbalance, right? I don't know if that's even a word, but you guys understand what I'm saying. Where you don't have balance, you got to get to a point where you don't have that in order to eventually have it. That means sacrifice. The bottom line is, the name of the game is sacrifice. We've got to sacrifice some time. Sometimes that's from our loved ones. Sometimes we have to have that season of separation where maybe you're married or you're in a relationship and you talk to your significant other and you let them know, listen, for the next 90 days, in 2019, I'm going to have less time. We're going to invest less money into certain things. We're going to go out less because we're going to put some of our money to work. We're going to put some of our time to work. That way, 2019 is our breakout year. So you've got to identify what you want to give up. And one of the reasons why I find that people don't go out there and do big things in business is very simple. A lack of personal development. They have the wrong expectations for themselves. They think that, things are going to happen without giving things up. The amount of work that people think that needs to be done in order to be successful is not the reality. Okay. So we're going to talk about a lot of these things here today. So first one is your why. We talked about that. Second one is identify and write down the thing or the things that you have to give up in order to achieve your why. You've got to give something's got to give, man. Okay. So you got to identify that. Then the next thing that we want to talk about is your list. You got to make a list, a bare minimum, 75 people. I always suggest people write a list of over 100 though. And there's no excuse. Look at your cell phone, look at your Facebook and your Instagram. How many contacts do you have there? Now, when you make this list, you literally have to write it down. You write down your list. And I'm going to share with you guys some tools that I use, okay? Because I take it another step further. I use a free CRM. Why do I use a free CRM? Because it's duplicatable. I have a credit repair company and a student loan forgiveness company, and we use a CRM. I could use one of those CRMs, but I decide not to. Why? Because that's not duplicatable. I don't want somebody to pay $50 a month for a CRM. So when it comes to network marketing, you want to keep it easily duplicatable. So, okay, the CRM that I use, I'm going to share that with you guys. But a good way to have it is to simply have a list of contacts. Okay, give an example. Here's a list of contacts on my notepad. Some of these guys are already in the business. Valentin Negron, guess what? He's on here. But guess what? He was actually the first guy on my list. Isn't that interesting? You guys can see right there. So, and then there's a lot of people that are on here that are already on board. As I'm looking through this list, I realize, yeah, there's some people that I got to follow up with again. They're in my CRM. But you want to make a list of the people that you're going to go ahead and contact. Another key note is you don't want to prejudge the people on the list. Don't worry about it. You've got to get to the mindset of this. I don't care who says no or who says yes. I'm going to do the activity. You need to know ahead of time that you are going to get rejection. And you've got to go through the numbers. Here's what I focus on, and here's what I would encourage you to focus on. Focus on the right activity, productivity. If you're focusing on the right activities on a daily basis, the numbers, the ratios will appear. I don't worry about rejection. All I know is that 2% of the sales are made on the first call. 2%. So I'm going to be going through a bunch of phone calls. Doesn't mean that I'm going to get them signed up, but I follow up and I follow up until they get signed up. As a matter of fact, one of the gentlemen that's on here, my buddy Mart, all the way from Amsterdam, right? He tells me, JC, because I followed up with him, right? And I followed up with him until he signed up. And he says, JC, I got to tell you, your CRM is working really good because he complimented my follow-up. And he's actually on here, and I appreciate that compliment. Then I said, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. And eventually he signed up. He's a really good friend of mine, right? I don't consider him just a colleague. I consider him also a friend. And so anyways, when it comes to that stuff, the fortune is made in the follow-up. So anyways, you make your list over 100 people, okay? Make sure it's written down. Don't go out there and grab me a cell phone and say, here's my list. No. It's got to be written down. If you want the best chance of success, don't leave it to chance. Very simple. If you want the best chance of success, don't leave it to chance. Follow these instructions accordingly. Now, I'm going to show you what to say, how to invite these people, okay, what to say to these people, but you want to make sure that you've got a list. So when you make a list, don't prejudge anybody, okay? Understand that this is a contact sport, meaning the more people you contact, the better you're going to do, okay? You want to be in a hurry when you contact people, and you want to be excited. So when I start calling people, here's what I do. I let people know, because this is what I do. I set a time apart, let's say from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. or from 5 to 6. I set at least 1 hour aside. I do nothing else, but I don't make phone calls. I fire away phone calls. That's just kind of how I see it. It's just kind of what motivates me. I kind of picture myself kind of like, for any of you guys that have seen the movie Troy, in the movie Troy, they talk about, well, they don't talk about it. You got these guys on top of the castle, and they got the arches, right, and they're, sending, the arrows, right? And they're just firing them away. They just put them in there, and they're firing them away. That's how I picture my phone calls going. I fire away phone calls because I know for every 10 phone calls, I get a certain amount of appointments. For a certain amount of appointments, I get a certain amount of people that sign up. And then for those amount of people that sign up, I push, them to the webinars, to the trainings, and I get a certain amount of them to duplicate into the business. And I just do this over and over and over. And before you know it, there's a huge organization, but it all starts the same way. It starts with doing the right activity from the beginning, right? So when I fire away phone calls and I call people, there's a couple tips I give them. Number one is you want to be excited when you talk to people, okay? Number two, you want to be in a hurry. You let them know that you're in a hurry. By the way, phone calls is great. Text messages are great too. And we're going to get into a little bit of a training on what to say on these phone calls. But what I want you to understand is have the right mindset when you're calling people. So here we talk about, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because this is not a part of the basic training, but having a prospecting mindset. Millionaires become millionaires because they have a mindset, they have their business hats on. That's the mindset that they have. Good marketers sees the world from a totally different perspective and uses that to his advantage. Opportunities all around us. That is why it's so important to always have a prospecting mindset, okay? Understand that. As you contact people, some will, some won't, so what next? It is the difference between a scarcity mindset and an abundance mindset. If you have a list of 10 people, your mindset is going to be a scarcity mindset. There's a huge difference. Trust me when I tell you. Just trust me. As you're getting mentorship from people that already have results, that are already making more money, right, in the particular business that you're involved in, sometimes when they tell you certain things, it doesn't click right away. you listen anyways. Sometimes the things don't click because we're not where we need to be for it to make sense. But later on, we realize it clicked. Kind of like when I was a kid. My mom would tell me to do or not to do certain things, and I would question her. As I became an adult, I realized, now I know, Mom, why you told me not to do those things. So my encouragement to you is to listen to what's being taught, especially if the people that are teaching you already have those results, already have those teams, right? So you want to have that mindset of an abundance mindset. The bigger the list, the bigger the abundance mindset is. If they don't tell me no when I contact them, which once again, I'm going to get into what to say when you contact them. But if they say no to me, or as long as they're not, if they don't tell me, listen, leave me alone, I'm not interested in your business, I don't want anything to do with it, they're still on my follow-up list. Anything short of that, I'm still going to follow up with them in the future. Sometimes they say, you know what, JC, they give me an excuse or a reason why. I said, tell you what. Let's say the guy's name is Angel. Tell you what, Angel. I understand right now it's not a good time. Is it okay with you if I keep you informed from time to time? Is it okay with you if I keep you informed from time to time? Angel says, yeah, that's cool. 99% of the time they say, yeah, keep me informed from time to time. What he just did is he gave me permission to keep him informed from time to time. So now I got him on the list. I make notes. Or if I use a CRM, guess what? I use a CRM and I put it there and I put a reminder when to call him back. So as I'm checking my CRM every single day, the reminders show up and then I follow up because I treat it like a profession. Here's the deal. It's simple. If you want to get paid like a professional, you've got to treat it like a professional. If you want to get paid like an amateur, then go ahead and treat it however you want, right? So there's 3 rules to building. Exposure is everything. You got to expose people to the business. Get them on some of the webinars that we do on a weekly basis. We've got pre-recorded presentations, which today I'm going to record a new one. I send these pre-recorded presentations. I send them some of my personal results, right? Because I'm a product of the product. Then I follow up with them. Hey, brother, I just exposed 3 people yesterday. My buddy Javier is the next person on my list. Then I've got my buddy Chris. I spoke to him today. I sent him the information yesterday. He's ready to sign up. Got to follow up with Chris, Javier, and Pedro. I'm signing up Pedro today. Just of the activity that I did this week, I've got 3 people signing up at least on the silver pack or higher, right? Guess what? Then the fortune is in the immediate follow-up. So I expose them to the business. Then I follow up with them about the information that I sent them to look at. And then I work with the willing. Some people, they just want to be customers. Some people will join the business, then they join the witness protection program. They join the business, they'll buy a pack, then they disappear on you. See, if you know that ahead of time, that helps you with building. Because, you know, here's the thing. If you introduce somebody to the business, then they start getting this guy, people rejection or people join and then they disappear, then they think they are the only ones that are experiencing that, and that is not the case. This happens to the best of us. So when people know this ahead of time, you're managing their expectations so they don't feel bad. They realize, okay, I was told that this is a part of the business. One of the audios that I would encourage everybody to listen to, and I'll share if somebody could help me and share the link here, is a training that I did called Bulletproof Mindset. It's on YouTube. It's free. It's a 54 or 56 minute audio on having the right mindset for building your network marketing business. Of course, I'm biased. I believe that that is the absolute best training for anybody that's going to start building, as far as mindset goes, for anybody that's going to start building a network marketing business. And it really gives people the right mindset. It really gives people that thick skin. One of the analogies that we use in network marketing is that you want to have rhino skin. Why rhino skin? Because rhino skin is about 2 or 3 inches thick. So it can be penetrated with just a regular bullet, right? So when you get rejection, you will get rejection from friends and family members. Very often, our friends and family members are cleverly disguised. Our doubters and our most negative people are cleverly disguised as friends and family members. Why? Because they feel the most confidently. They tell you that stuff doesn't work. That'll never work. They're very skeptical about it. Very often people that are not that close to us are more open to our opportunity. It's important for you to know that ahead of time. Why? To manage your expectations, to know that you are not the only one that's going through this. Okay, we're gonna skip through this here. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the inviting. So when you call people, I'm gonna get into a couple of different ways to invite people to check out the business, right? So one of the very simple and generic ways to invite to the business is this. Okay? Show 15 minutes, may or may not be interested. It's a 3-step process. So let's say I give my buddy Alex a call. I give Alex a call, ring, ring. Alex answers. Then I say, Alex, how are you, brother? How's everything? Alex says, everything is good, JC. What's up? I say, listen, bro, I know you're always busy, and I'm about to go into a meeting as well, so I don't have a lot of time, so I'm not going to take a lot of your time either. But real quick, the reason why I was calling you is this. Notice, I'm in a hurry. I let him know I don't have a lot of time. Part of the reason why I do that is that way he knows, in case he wants to ask me a bunch of questions, I let him know ahead of time that I don't have a lot of time, so that means that I can't get into all of these questions with him, okay? So I say, but listen, reason why I'm calling you is because I have something important that I need to show you. Or I got something very important or something that I'm very excited about that I want to run by you. You kind of tailor it however you want, right? Some people feel better saying, I have something important that I want to show you. Some people say, I got something that I want to run by you. Or some people say, I got an idea that I want to run by you. I got an idea that I want to show you. I got an idea that I got to share with you. You kind of tailor however you want. I'm just kind of giving you the frame, right? So let's say you say, listen, I got something important that I want to show you, brother. When do you have about 15 minutes so we can sit down? And by the way, it may or may not be for you, but I need to get your opinion. Very simple. Now, if he says, well, what's it about? I could answer a couple different ways. If he says, what's it about? I say, as I mentioned, brother, I got to show it to you. I can't show you over the phone. But if you give me 15 minutes, man, I'd love to show it to you. And not only that, I literally got somebody waiting for me or whatever the case may be, right? I got to get into this meeting. Okay, so I can't really talk right now, but let me know when we could connect either in person at a local Starbucks or when we could connect via Zoom. I use Zoom a lot to meet, even with people that are local. Sometimes, like I had a meeting on Tuesday. Somebody lives in Long Beach. That's about a 30-minute drive for me. Guess what? Our times didn't coordinate, but because of the drive time. But over Zoom, we were able to connect, sign the guy up. Okay? His name's Raul. So anyways, you could even mess this up. You could go backwards. Hey, listen, Alex, this may or may not be for you. It's going to take about 15 minutes, but I got something really important that I need you to see. I got something really important that I got to show you. You can mess it up again. You can start from the middle. Listen, Alex, this is going to take about 15 minutes. Bro. Of course, this is after you let them know you're in a hurry, right? So, Alex, how's it going? Bro? Listen, I know you're busy and so am I. I'm about to go into a meeting. But real quick, brother, I got something that's going to take about 15 minutes. It may or may not be for you, but I got to show you something. I got to get your opinion. When can we sit down and have a coffee for 15 to 20 minutes? Notice how I'm not giving them a lot of information. Now, if you want to be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more seasoned, what I let people know is I say, listen, I started working with a company that literally has something where you can make a pretty significant compound interest, hands-free. I want to get your opinion on it. I know that nothing gets by you. I want to see if you could poke some holes into this, right? Let me know if I'm missing something because it looks great to me. You mind helping me out like that, bro? So there's not a cookie cutter way to do it, right? But the way that you get good at inviting is by going out there and doing it. So the best thing that we could do as mentors is give you a roadmap because, see, the way that I say things may not necessarily be the same way that you say things, right? Maybe it doesn't fit you, but you could tweak it to your liking. Does that make sense? So anyways, that's a generic way for us to invite people. Okay, here's another. So I'm going to give you about 10 different invites. That's the first one. The second one, the next one is this. John, what are you doing on Tuesday evening around 6 p.m. Pacific time? That's more important than you learning how to make an extra $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, or maybe John's motivation is not that. Because see, different prospects are different. Maybe John has always had an interest in growing his money. Maybe John has an extra $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 to put into trading or into making him some money somehow. Hey, John, what are you doing on Tuesday evening that's more important than you learning how to grow your money with compound interest? Okay? See, that might be the trigger for John. Now, what if John happens to be a 19-year-old kid that's trying to make an extra $2,000 a month? That's not the right invite for him about compounding interest because he has no money to work with. So maybe with John that's 19-year-old John, the pitch is, hey, John, what are you doing on Tuesday night that's more important than you learning how to make an extra $2,000 to $5,000 a month part-time from home? What are you doing that's more important than that? Well, I was going to go to the movies or watch Creed with my girlfriend. Well, that's not more important, bro. Right? You got to check this out. I just started working with some gentlemen that are absolutely crushing it. You've got to see this. By the way, you owe me lunch for this one, John. Notice a posture, by the way, when I'm inviting people. My posture is that of somebody that's confident. It isn't like, hey, John, do you think that maybe, possibly, if you want to check out a business opportunity, don't use business opportunity. That's cheesy. That's from the 90s and the 80s and 90s, right? You want to be more hip. You want to be, you know what I mean? So the way that I'm inviting people, once again, there's different ways, but it's very nonchalant, right? You want to get used to that word nonchalant. Don't make it weird. Practice. One thing that I would do when I was new is I would practice in my mirror at home. And I'd practice. And I looked really stupid. And I recognized I looked really stupid while I was doing it. But I knew that's what I had to do to get good and comfortable with the invite process. Okay? Here's another one. Sarah, let me ask you something. If 20 years ago you knew what you know now about Starbucks and you had the opportunity to have invested, would you have invested? You could do Starbucks, Amazon, Uber, whatever. If I'm talking to a guy who's an Uber driver, maybe Uber is a better option. Hey, George, let me ask you something, bro. If 20 years ago you knew what you know now about Uber, not 20, of course, but let's say 5 years ago, 4 years ago. If 4 years ago you knew what you know now about Uber and you had the opportunity to have invested, would you have done it knowing what you know now? George says, absolutely. Bro, I've got something bigger than Uber. We got to get together. I got to show you something. Well, what's it about? Something that's bigger than Uber. We got to get together. Keep in mind, if you're following the notes, I already told him before that I don't have a lot of time to talk. I'm about to go into a meeting. That is my pre-made excuse to not get into answering all his questions. Does that make sense? So also, when I'm talking about sitting down with him, doesn't have to be physically. It could be on a Zoom. You could promote one of our webinars, or you could send him a pre-recorded webinar for him to take a look at it. So let's say he says, look, man, let's say he's out of state or in another country. Or says, look, man, yeah, I'm interested. You know what I mean? What do you got? Tell you what, I'm going to send you a pre-recorded presentation, or this day at this time, there's a presentation. I need you to take a look at it, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You set up a time for them to look at the information. Let me give you guys a tip. The number one skill, the number one most paid skill in network marketing, ladies and gentlemen, is inviting to events. You got to be good at inviting people to events in network marketing. If you get good at that, you can make a ton of money. That is the number one paid skill in network marketing, is inviting people to events. Invite them to events, and then duplicate that, right? In our business, here's the deal, man. We've got a service. Our Forex service, for example. Keep in mind, everybody that's on here is already in the business, okay? So this is not me enticing anybody to join the business. Past results don't guarantee future performance. That is the truth. I show people an account that I started September 21st. And from September 21st till now, we're in not even mid-December, has made me 31%. I'm a product of the product. I literally show people the business, say, here's my results. Here's my wife's results. This is real. Over the last 3 months, we've made over 10% a month. Compound interest. What does that mean, ladies and gentlemen? Here's what that means. If you make 8% a month compound interest, you make 150% per year. You turn 1,000 into 2,500 in a year at only 8% a month compound interest. Keep in mind, past results don't guarantee future performance. What am I getting to? What I'm getting to is this. I told one of my guys, listen, bro, if you're using the services and you're excited about the business, and you're actually building a business and you're showing the business to people, if you cannot close people on this service, man, you can't close a window. Excuse me, but it's the truth. If you believe, if you're serious about the business. Now, if you're not serious about the business, it's okay. I tell people there's 3 kinds of people when you build this business. And when I recruit them, I ask them this. I said, there's usually 3 kinds of people. Tell me where you fit in. Number 1 is person that wants to supplement their income. If you want to supplement your income, being a customer, just being a customer, using the service, you can supplement your income. And you do very well. Number 2 is somebody who wants to replace their income. And number 3 is somebody who wants financial freedom. Where do you see yourself? If you want to replace your income at your current job or way of making money, or you want financial freedom, you have to apply the things that we're talking about here. You've got to treat this business like a business. If you invested $100,000 into a restaurant, how many hours would you be working? You'd be working 12 to 15 hours a day or more. But see, I know people that will invest $100,000 into a restaurant that has the potential to maybe make them $100,000 a month after 3 or 4 or 5 years. But you got a business that can make you millions of dollars from home. And you could work hard for a year or two and never have to worry about money again. And yet they don't put the time and energy and effort into it. I find that interesting. I've got one young guy that sold his PlayStation. He sold some Jordans. He sold a bunch of stuff. He put $1,000 in his broker account. Now the guy's made about $2,400 in commissions. Why? Because he's showing people the results. Now, his immediate friends don't have a lot of money, but their parents do. And he started putting people on the phone with me that are older than him, that have more credibility than with him, but he put them on the phone with me. And guess what? We got their people started. So now the guy's on his way. But see, what that shows me is a desire. He went out and sold some things, man. He says, listen, I'm going to make it. I don't have the money, but I'll come up with the money, right? Tony Robbins says, listen, your biggest resource is your resourcefulness. You know, Jim Rohn says, show me somebody with $1 and some ambition, and I'll show you how to get rich. I love that quote. Show me somebody with $1 and some ambition, I'll show you how to get rich. Let me show you how to get rich. I'm going to show you how to get rich right now. Watch this. I got somebody hitting me up. Fast Start Training link. Yes, hold on. So here's the deal. I'm going to show you how to get rich. If you understand the power of compound interest, okay, you can get very, very rich. So watch. We take out, let's see if I have my compound interest calculator here. We take out, right, our compound interest calculator. Let's say you're able to put just $3,000. $3,000 into an account that's making you only 8% a month, which is ludicrous. That's ludicrous. But we've got the results to back it up, right? And let's say to that account, you have a business that you're able to add $500 a month to it. So you start off with $3,000, you add $500 a month to it, and you're making an average of 8% a month compound interest. Keep in mind, our traders for the last 3 years have made between 5 and 15 a month, okay? Past results don't guarantee future performance. I want to be clear on that. We have to say that and be compliant, okay? And it's the truth. After 5 years, $3,000 you start. And you add, let's say you have a business. Guess what? This sounds like a pretty damn good business here, okay? And that business, or however you make it, you're able to add an additional $500 a month. Every month, you add $500 a month to it. If that means stop going out and eating out, stop having date night for a while, if that means work more hours, we're talking about building wealth. We're talking about sacrifice a lollipop today to get the bicycle later. Does that make sense? It's about switching the mindset, right? After 5 years, you're looking at $929,000. $929,878 to be exact. You put $3,000 in an account that's only making 8% a month compound interest, and you're adding $500 a month to that account. What if you're able to bump it up just an extra $100? So instead of $500 a month, what if you're able to bump it up an extra $100? So now you're adding $600 a month. Now you're a millionaire. You got $1,055,099. $3,000, you're adding $600 a month to it every month. You add $600, let's say on the first of the month, deposit $600, deposit $600, deposit. You do that for 5 years. You're a millionaire in 5 years if you're only making 8% a month. Now, let's say they forget 8, let's talk about 7% a month. You still have $661,000 after 5 years. After 6 years, you're at 1.5 million. How you like those apples? We're talking about building wealth. Now, what if you got an account after 3 months, 4 months, 5, 6 months that is making you money? Now you're able to follow up with people because you got a bunch of people that said, I'm not ready yet, or no, or whatever. I got to think about it, whatever the case is. And you say, hey, brother, just keeping you informed like you told me to. Now, the last message I sent you a month ago, here's my results so far. Just keeping you informed, brother. Let me know whenever you're ready. Let's have a coffee sometime. And you just keep doing it. Boom. And you keep doing it. Meaning you treat it like a professional. Eventually, here's the deal. I sat down with a guy. I'm at the 55% code. I sat down with a guy yesterday who owns an alarm company, an ADT company, right? His name's Pedro. He's a guy that I sat down with him yesterday. Today he's signing up, right? So I sat down with him. He bought a $1,000 account. My commission on that at a 55% is roughly around $500. 1 hour conversation, right? I had sent him some videos. Then I sat down with him, broke the numbers to him, showed him some of my results. He says, I'll do the 1,000 because I get 2 months free and I get more benefits in the comp plan. I'll do the $1,000 pack. $500 right there. My goal is to sign up 3 people on a weekly basis because we got a service that all we got to do is open our mouth, be a product of the product, get excited, learn a little bit of knowledge, and go out there and talk to people. Go out there and follow up with people. Then it gets to the point where you can sign up 1 person a day. What if your average commission is just $200 per person? And you're going to sign up 2-3 people. That's an extra $600 a week before the duplication starts, right? Anyway, and by the way, we're going to be doing a lot of training, a lot of mentorship on mindset, on leadership, on public speaking. We're going to be the highest trained team because as the email says that you receive from the company, one of my favorite quotes, a highly trained team equals a highly paid team. So we're going to train people. See, my philosophy in building, and I think this is why I've been very blessed in the industry, I don't use people to build my business. I use my business to build people. If we build strong people, those people are, the building of the business takes care of itself. It takes care of itself automatically. So if we train, see, right now we're in the pre-launch phase with ITN. I assure you, come January, we're going to step up the webinars. We're going to step up the trainings. We're going to step up the events. Right now, we're just warming things up. We're just getting the testimonials. We're getting a bunch of customers, right? We're just warming up the engine. We haven't even started driving. We got a 2020, forget a 2019. We got a 2020 brand new top of the line Lamborghini of an opportunity here. And we haven't started driving. We just turned on the key. But see, a Lamborghini makes a lot of noise, right? We are going to go out there. I believe that all roads lead to ITN. We've got a tremendous opportunity. We don't touch people's money. In the crypto space, you got a lot of companies say, hey, buy our mining contracts. Hey, send us your money. We'll pay you a daily dividend from our trading. We say, we don't want your money. Just pay for the service. Here's our results. Here's our happy customers. Pay for the service. You know, that's all you got to do. And your money is in your possession at all time. You can take it out whenever you want. You can stop the service whenever you want. There's no contracts. I mean, this, to me, once again, it doesn't seem like a business opportunity. It's an IQ test. You got the best deal out there. All roads lead to ITN. So anyways, the invite. If I could show you a way to put an extra $1,000 to $2,000 per month in your pocket part-time, is that worth 30 minutes of your time? That's another way to invite, right? Here's another one. Honestly, answer this question. Triple what you made last year. Triple what your W-2 or 1099 did last year. Now imagine if that money was coming in on a monthly basis. What will your life look like? These are some generic trainings that you've got, right? By the way, this is being recorded, so you guys can surely see this later. We're going to send out the link to people, okay? If I could, would you? And are you serious or are you kidding, right? So let's say, for example, I got my buddy Lewis. And let's say Lewis is interested in buying a new BMW. And I give him a call. Hey, Lewis, let me ask you something, bro. Keep in mind, always in a hurry, right? And I'm excited. Lewis, let me ask you this, bro. I got to get going, but let me ask you this. If I could show you how to get the new 5 Series Beamer that you've been talking about, that you want, in the next 3 to 6 months, would you be interested in learning how? He says, yeah, of course. Are you serious, bro, or are you kidding? Because I'm very serious. He says, no, I'm serious. What's up? Sounds good. That's all I need to know. We got to meet. When do you have 15 to 20 minutes so we can sit down? What's it about? I just told you. It's about showing you how to get your BMW in the next 3 to 6 months. I'm not guaranteeing anything, right? I'm not making any promises that there's room for you, but I'm going to show you something. I just started. So right now I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, by the way. I do this. You could keep it at right there. Just stop it right there. What's it about? It's about showing you how to get that BMW that you've been talking about. Tell you what, why don't we meet? I got to go into this meeting, or I got to go to work. I got to do whatever, right? So I can't really talk right now. But let's sit down, have a cup of coffee, and I'll break everything down to you. By the way, you owe me the coffee because what I'm going to show you is powerful. Notice the posture. Here's the deal. Everybody, wherever you're at, lean over, put your hands behind your back, and touch those bumps you got in the middle of your back. You feel those bumps? Yeah, that's called a backbone. If you want to be a millionaire, you want to make a lot of money and build passive income, you got to use your backbone. That means you got to have posture. You got to be confident when you're talking to people. You got the deal. You got to act as if you are already the person that you want to be. Act as if you're making that income because everything is created twice. It's first created in the mind, then it's created in the physical reality. This device that you are looking at this information on, guess what, was created in somebody's mind first. A lot of you guys, the device that you are looking on was created in Steve Jobs' mind first, wasn't it? Right? For all of you guys that use Apple, I'm currently using my MacBook. Some of you guys are using your iPhone. I'm not an iPhone guy. I'm a Droid guy, but you get what I'm saying, right? So it was first created in the mind, then it was created in the physical. The person and the income and the lifestyle that you desire has to first be created in the mind with a burning obsession, believe it, and you got to get excited. And you got to be willing to go out there and get a bunch of no's, get a bunch of rejection. Because here's the deal. Someday, people that talk you down, people that tell you that it won't work, and people, even haters, someday they're going to be telling people how they met you. Oh, you know Jay. Oh, you know Alex. Oh, you know Javier. Oh, man, I met that guy, back in 2001. I met that guy back in 2010. I met that guy back in 2018, December 2018. He introduced me to this ITN deal. I didn't jump on it. I wish I would have. Okay? But guess what? That's never going to happen if you don't follow these instructions. We're going to get into some personal growth, some books and audios that I'm going to tell you to listen to. This is for the people that really want to go out there and make a difference, okay, in their lives. So let's talk about network marketers. How do I invite network marketers? Let me ask you a serious question. Are you open? Are you recruitable? So, for example, let's say I got my buddy, John. I'm going to just pick out a name, John. And John is with another company. Maybe it's on Messenger on Facebook. What I try to do is I try to call them first. Very often they won't answer the call, but the more people are willing to do a text, messenger, whatever the case may be. Say, hey, what's up, John? Let's catch up sometime. And, hey, what's up, brother? How's it going? We start a conversation. And if I feel like I can't get them on the phone, then here's the deal. I'm going to go through the activity, right? So I'll send him a message. Hey, let me ask you a serious question, brother. He says, yeah, sure. What's up? I said, are you recruitable or are you married to your current company? If he says, I'm always open, brother. What's up? That's a possibility. Then I'll get into it. If he says, you know what, bro? I'm very happy where I'm at. Hey, I understand completely, brother. But listen, I know that you are currently making good money or you're going to make a lot of money, whatever. I give him a compliment. I say, I like to use the audios more. Why do I use the audios more? Because, you could convey the message a lot better. I'm working with some guys that are just making a tremendous amount of money on their own money. They're compounding the money very, very fast, and I'm excited about it. And they have possession of their money at all time. I thought about you. I know that you're committed to your company and you're doing great, and congratulations. But at the end of the day, I'm sure you're open to having your money work for you. If you're open to something like that, brother, I'd love to chat, love to buy you a coffee. Depends who it is. I'd love to buy you lunch. Let me know, brother. But what do? I use my posture and I do the right activity. Boom. All I worry about is exposing people to the information. Expose. Some of these people that I expose are going to click. They're going to say, you're going to give me a chance. They're going to say, show me. Let's meet. Somebody say, not right now, bro. No problem. I don't take it personal. I simply focus on the right activity. That's key. Right is a key word. The right activity. Just like when I'm calling people. If I call my uncle and he says, you know what, son, you know what, bro, I'm traveling. I come back next week. Call me next week. Sounds good. I did the right activity. I put on my notepad, whether it's on my phone or my CRM, to call him back. Guess what? I follow up with them next week. Hey, how was the mountains? If I have my CRM, I put my notes on there. How'd your trip to the mountains go? Yeah. Hey, listen, just following up with you. If it's a network marketer, what I say, I'm sure you can appreciate my persistence and my follow-up, because that's what we get paid to do in our business, right? Following up with you like you asked me to, man. How's everything going? Want to see if we can sit down and blah, 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 whatever the case may be, right? Are you open to other opportunities? Are you married to the company that you are a part of? Also, invite them to our special training calls, okay? Tell them to learn and apply the knowledge in their business. I've recruited so many people, not because they join an opportunity webinar, but because they join a training call. Sometimes they're more open to say, like I'll send them a message, hey, bro, one of the master distributors who's done this and this and this is actually doing a special training. I'm sure that you could pick up some things for your current business. If you're interested, bro, I'll send you the link, man. I know that you're always looking to grow and learn. Oftentimes they say, yeah, I'll check that out, because it's a training call. So see, you're being very nonchalant about it. But see, if you expose them to now what you're doing is you're exposing them to the people that you're working with. You're exposing them to that environment. Then that opens up their mind to dig into your business. Even if they don't ask you to dig into your business, guess what happens? They might look at your website now. They might actually read through your website. They might actually watch the videos that you sent them. Does that make sense? So I'm not always recruiting them to the opportunity side. Sometimes I recruit them to the product side. Sometimes I recruit them to some of the trainings, the special trainings that we got. Then all of a sudden they open up a little bit more. These are little tactics that have worked for me throughout the years. Phenomenal, right? So after the meeting, okay, so after, I'm going to get into this briefly. If it is a live meeting, and we're going to finish off with this, if it is a live meeting, you want to stay seated and ask the proper questions, right? So if you are in a meeting room, right, you don't get up and walk out. You turn around and you look at your prospect and you ask the proper questions. If it's a webinar, obviously it's a different story. Give them a call right after the webinar and ask them the right questions. One of the questions that I like to open up with is, hey, what's up, bro? Pretty good stuff, huh? So I want to get them in the mode of saying, yes, pretty good stuff, especially if we're in person, pretty good stuff. And I'm nodding my head, and they tend to nod their head to, yeah, it was pretty good. Cool, man. What caught your attention most about what you saw, right? So what jumped out to you most about what you saw, right? Or what did you like best? That's a classic. You don't say, what did you think? Well, I think that was too long. I think the guy talked too fast, right? See, when you ask, what did you think? They can answer in a negative way. Instead of say, pretty good stuff, huh? Yeah, it was pretty good. What caught your attention the most? Maybe they liked one thing about the presentation and 9 things they didn't like. But I'm asking them, what was that thing that they liked the most? So then they have to give me that answer, right? Did you see a way for you to make some money with this? Or did you, in our case, did you see a way for you to put some of that money that you make and to put it to work? I told one of my buddies, listen, bro, open up an account, pay for it for a month if you want. Buy it for 1 month. Open up a broker account, put $2,000, $3,000. Say, somebody like you can find $2,000, $3,000 in between your couches. I throw a little joke like that, and he starts laughing. See, that's a compliment. It's a joke/compliment, right? But I do it very nonchalant. I'm like, somebody like you can find $2,000, $3,000 in between your couches, bro. And so he starts laughing. I was like, look, buy it for a month. If after a month you don't like it, you withdraw your money, what it costs you? It costs you $100, bro. Support my business. Ask people to support your business. Does that make sense? So he says, you know what? I'll try it out. I got a guy that I did that with, right? He tried it out for a month. He liked the results. He bought the 1-year package. Guess what? It's a follow-up. It's a persistence. But guess what? How are you going to get good at these things? By doing these things. How do you get good at riding a bike? By riding a bike. That's how you get good at riding a bike, by riding a bike, right? So here's some objections as they come in, right? I'm glad you said that. So no matter what objection they tell me, I'm glad you said that is a very easy way to answer, right? Somebody says, you know what? I don't have the time. You know what, man? Alex, I'm so glad you said that. This business is specifically designed for people that don't have a lot of time. Here's why. Think about it. Imagine you say, you know what, JC, the thing is, I just don't have a lot of time. That's awesome, bro. I'm so glad you said that. Or you could even add into it. I'm so glad you said that. I thought I was the only one that felt that way. Here's why. This business is specifically designed for people that don't have a lot of time. Here's why. Because you know some people that I don't know, and I got some time that you don't have, apparently. All you got to do is put me in front of these people that you know that I don't know. You don't have the time, so I'll dedicate the time. I'll show them the business. If they sign up, I put them under your team. That's why it's specifically designed for people that don't have a lot of time. But I don't have any money to put into the trading. Man, I'm so glad you said that. This business is actually designed for people that don't have the money to put into trading. I can show you a way how you can get started for the smallest pack, $200 out the door first month, okay? You put some people in front of me. You invite, I present, they decide, you make the commissions. 30 to 45 days from now, we're able to generate you an extra $1,000, $2,000. That way you could put into the training. That way you could put into the trading. So it's designed for people that don't have a lot of money. And guess what? We've got people like that. But guess what it is? It's all about posture. No matter what, there's always a sale being made. Either you are selling them on why to do the business, why to grow their money, how to make some additional money, how to build some leverage, or they're selling you on why not. But there's no such thing as a no sale opportunity. There's always a sale being made. No matter what. If you go buy a car and you walked out of that dealership without buying a car, you sold the car sales guy on why it's not a good time for you to buy the car. If you drive out with a new car, they sold you on why you should have a car. But no matter what, there's always a sale being made. Make no mistake about it. So guess what? If you're the one that has the training, you're the one that has the opportunity, you're the one that knows how to become a millionaire just with the tools and the products, how can you not close? You should be closing more. Guess what? However, if our belief isn't there, that's where it affects us, right? I thought I was the only one that felt that way. We talked about that. Or feel, felt, found. A very simple. Hey, I know how you feel. I felt the same way. Here's what I found out. I don't have the time. Or, or I don't have a lot of money. I know how you feel because I felt that before when I started in the business. Here's what I found out. if I don't do something different, I'm never going to get something different. And what I was doing before I didn't have the time, I realized that if I didn't make a drastic change and I didn't make the effort to come up with the money to join the business, a year later, I still find myself saying, I don't have the money. So let me ask you something. If you don't have the money, if you did know a way for you to come up with the money, how would you do it? I've asked that question so many times. I asked a young lady that, she said, I don't have the money. I said, if you didn't know how to come up with the money, how would you do it? She says, I guess I'd ask my dad. I said, awesome. Let's go ask dad. Guess what? She asked her dad to borrow the money. She borrowed the money, right? And about a month and a half later, 2 months maybe, she ended up paying him back. Now, of course, if she didn't do anything, she wouldn't have paid him back through that business, but she turned out to do something. And I told her, listen, if you're going to ask your dad for the money, just make sure that you're going to ask him for the money. You're going to do what we say to do, meaning you're going to apply what we teach you. I don't want you to borrow the money from your dad and not do anything, and then you owe your dad the money, right? She says, no, I want to do it. The only thing that's stopping me is I don't have the money. I said, good. Then let's make it happen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to open it up for any questions. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put it on the chat here. And what I want to do is just get any questions answered. And then after that, what we're going to do is we're going to close off the webinar. But I want to make sure that before we close it off, and I'm glad I'm looking at this because my computer's about to die. Let me connect that. Okay, looks like we're good now. Awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you for the awesome training webinar. Great. Mark, I appreciate that as well. Oh, Mark mentioned about grading the follow-up. That's right, Mark. He's the one that I was talking about earlier. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, for you to put them in the chat. If not, I hope that we did a good job of portraying the information, right? But I appreciate all of you guys getting on. This will be recorded. We will have a YouTube link for this. That way you guys can pass it on to your teams as you start building your teams, right? And my encouragement is watch this more than one time. Watch it over and over so you really get this information. And I'm always available for any questions, right? And keep in mind, come January, we're going to really start doing every single week leadership trainings, right, on different subjects because we want to grow very, very strong people. So with that said, I appreciate everybody getting on. Everybody have a good day, and let's go out there and talk to a lot more people than we have been. Have a good day, everybody.